Mm-hmm. Are we really happy in this lonely game we play? Searching for words to say. Oh, searching but not finding understanding anyway. Are we lost in a man's grave? Both afraid to say we're just too far away. From being close together from the start. We tried to talk it over, but the words got in the way. We're lost inside this lonely game we play. Thoughts of leaving disappear every time I see your eyes. Weeping disappear. No matter how hard I try to understand the reasons that we carry on this way. We're lost in a masquerade. Carmen, you're a bad boy on that piano, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I did not know. Who's the guy with the gray beard? Oh, there's two guys with gray beards.
That's that.
All right.
All right, this is take 2. The battery died last time. I thought it was a great interview.
Hey, it's technology. What can you do?
Welcome to the Loft Sessions, everybody. This is Mr. Herb Smith, who I'm absolutely delighted to have here. He has a pedigree of a history that not many people have. Many people know you through Patti LaBelle because you played with her for 20 years. So that alone, you have a ton of stories, but I know you have a lot more to Herb Smith than that. Number one, you play bass, guitar, keyboards, and drums, right?
Well, yeah, the guitar came first.
Yeah.
And the bass actually you're going to learn because it was similar to guitar. So, in drums, it's funny. I got into drums when I was like 14 because we was in this trio, which I'll talk about real quickly, the Mellow Men, back in 1968. And the drummer got more attention than from the girls than I did. So I decided to go. I took some sticks and went home on my pillows and learned how to play drums. The girl thing came later. At that point I was a little insecure, whatever.
With a voice and a talent like you.
Well, I wasn't singing then. I could sing, but I just wasn't. And you're trying to figure out who you are at 13, So, but I knew I had this guitar, and I was very guitar focused.
I had the pleasure of having you on many CTO gigs, and you were the guy that I could always rely on. If you needed to sing a song, turn to Herb. You need to, a special drum, turn to Herb. Guitar, turn to Herb. And it was always, you always gave me a sense of real security when I went to a gig because I knew that I was covered.
Okay.
And as a guy that was running a band, that was like, it adds a day or two to my life because otherwise the worry would take it. Yeah.
A day or two to your life. So I can imagine what you were going through too, the stress and all of that.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But you're originally from Philly, or did you say you're originally from New York?
I'm originally from Philly.
Okay, and you went to school up in New York?
Oh, no, what happened was, born and bred in Philly, 1954, and around 1964, my mom put me in a private school. She was a nurse in upper state New York. That's when the Beatles hit. I'm 10. That's why I love the Beatles, and they meant a lot to me. George Harrison was a big inspiration for me on guitar. And I just evolved. I would cop records, and then my mom got me some guitar lessons, and it just evolved. So about age 13, I got kicked out of school at age, 12, 1966. So I came back home at just the right time to be in the black community in West Philly, Southwest Philly, and a career just grew and blossomed because I happened to be there, and we got to play behind all these wannabe singing groups then.
And who were your other influences? I mean, I wouldn't have thought George Harrison would.
Well, yeah, George, he was, and we loved the Beatles back then, but I still do. But and on the guitar thing back then, see, I'm a singer first, so I really used the guitar as a vehicle of musical expression once I learned to play. But I would listen to other cats. When it evolved into it, I remember Terry Caff was a big cat for me. I don't know if that's the guitar player that used to play with Chicago.
Yeah.
I was more into him than Hendrix at that time.
Really?
I got into Hendrix later, but I love Hendrix.
25 to 6 to 4 is a famous.
Yeah, man, that guitar solo is still stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so but it's just different cats. Benson, of course, was a big influence when he came along in my life.
Do you ever listen to like Roy Clark?
Yeah, Roy
Glenn
Clark
Campbell.
was bad.
How about Glenn Campbell?
I love Glenn Campbell.
This guy's good.
Roy Clark did this riff that I used to practice. So I caught him on TV doing this riff, and I went and copped. It was like very pentatonic. I didn't know what that was then, but I could hear it. And one of these riffs, I used to practice this thing. So he was a guitar teacher for me. Glenn Campbell, absolutely.
And how did you end up in Patti LaBelle's band?
Okay, I eventually got a gig with Dexter Wansell in 1976, fall of 1976. Wonderful producer, great guy. He had cut a deal with Kenny Gamble to be a staff producer for records, but at the same time, he was able to get his own records out. So he needed a band. I got the gig as his guitar player. And through him, I was able to play songs and all kinds of things, and I just cherished those years. But through playing on his records, and he was such a great producer, that I started getting a name, and then eventually Patti LaBelle called me, or not her, but her musical director, offered me the gig without even auditioning.
In 20 years, right? So you've
lasted
been all
20
over the
years.
world with her then.
With her, yeah. Well, the Stylistics took me also overseas in
So you've been
1983.
Japan,
I went to Australia with Patty.
Australia. Where else? All over Europe? You ever play in Italy?
I played, yeah, we were in Italy. We did, I did Palermo twice with her.
Really?
And then we, this some town, and I forget, it was not far from Rome. I got to go over to the Colosseum.
Yeah.
And we did a Soul Fest over in Italy. I don't remember what year it was.
Now, rumor has it that you played Live Aid.
Yes, I did.
1984, was it?
What year was it? 85, 84?
Yeah.
I think it was 85. I don't remember.
And
It's
what
like a
happened?
blur.
You were in Reno or something like that?
Yeah. What was happening was we were doing a gig with Patty, and she was so hot in the 80s, right, that we were in Reno, and we had like a week long or a couple weeks of gigs there where we were doing. And for us to get to Philly to do the Philly thing, they had to fly us in a Learjet. That was a big rock star moment for me because we flew in a Learjet, got to Philly, got out the airport, got in a limo, came over to the stadium. It was Kennedy Stadium something.
Yeah, JFK Stadium back in the day.
And we did the gig. Tina Turner, all these big acts were there. And right after the gig, we got back into the limo, went right back to the airport, and flew back to Reno because we had to do another gig that
So when
night.
you went to sleep that night, you must have been thinking, wow, I was just playing for 80,000 people, or millions of people around the world saw you on TV.
It's one of those things you don't focus on it because a lot of and I look back on that when we played the art museum, and I think it was sometime in the 90s. There were 1 million people out there to see Patty on the art museum plaza, but it's just what you did.
Right.
You cannot be consumed by those people. Otherwise, you can't do what you do to keep the Patty.
Now this is a good segue in when I was telling you. I
Right.
asked you before, did you ever get nervous in front of anybody? And you had such a poetic response.
No, it's really not about them. You have to kind of be above the gig. You got to put yourself bigger than the gig.
And in that zone, you said, when you're in that zone.
It's a kind of a beautiful arrogance because for you to be able to be in the zone of your gift, you can't be focused on them.
Right.
So you have to I had a kind of, well, let me get this gig over. Let me get this shit over with. It was kind of that thing, but I didn't really mean it.
Right.
But it was, I had
It's a way
to be
to get
in
through.
that place.
Yeah, absolutely.
To not, and it was one time I did have a nervous thing. And what happened was we played LA and we were doing this big gig, and they had these seat markers for all these people that were going to be. I think Whitney Houston was coming. I don't remember. And so we got there in LA, they have everything union. And the sax player we had with us, she's awesome. She's my baby. It's Pam Williams. She became the sax player. She got one album out. So we were doing this sound check, and the guy is up in this booth. We were sound checking. He stopped and hit the buzzer. Bing! Sax is out of tune. Sax is out of tune. So she's tuned the sax. She tuned it. It happened a couple times. She tuned it. I love her to death. This is what happened. So by the time we went in to do the gig, everything was cool. I'm waiting. I had to play acoustic guitar on Sending the Clowns behind Patty by myself. It was me, Pam, and a percussionist. And I'm doing this thing every night. We did it on Broadway. It's all good, Everything was great. Let's do it. And Pam comes up to me. Now, she's a little thrown off by what happened to her. She goes, "Don't these things make you nervous?" And I went, "Nervous?" I looked around and saw the names of the people, and it got to me. So I went out there. I played, and sure enough, I made one bad chord, but I didn't let it stop me. I just picked it up and kept it rolling.
Right.
And because that's what you got to do, you know.
You just got to go through it.
I want to share one other thing that happened to me. I love this story. All right, so I'm fired from Patty. I got the gig back. It was 1987, I think it was. She had a record out called Yo Mister that Prince produced and wrote. Okay, so they invested all this money in this big backdrop for Patty. We all had wireless guitars and stuff. Everybody did. And they had a beautiful stage that was ascending levels. The drummer was in the middle. I was stage right. Patty's down stage front. And my job was, we were opening with Yo Mister. It was like, the Big Drive song. I got to run down stage, run left in solo, run to the right side and just scream and stuff, and run back solo, shoulder to shoulder with Patty. All of that was cool. But I wore these cowboy boots that night. And I got next to Patty. I'm doing my thing, and my heel got caught in something. And I leaned back, and I lost my balance and fell on my ass.
Really?
Just really. And you heard the whole crowd. We're in Minneapolis. They went, right? And the only thing was I kept soloing.
I think we lost you.
Oh, did I mess up something?
There we go.
The only thing that saved me, I just kept soloing on my ass.
There you go. Dave.
Okay,
That was part of the act,
you
right?
didn't hear the guitar go blang.
Yeah.
And so when I was done, there was another segment of the show, and the guys come in, Prince wants to know if he can borrow your guitar, Herb. I said, sure. So I took the guitar over to Prince. He was in the wings. I said, yo, man, how'd you like my fall? I went to him like that. He said, I thought that was part of the show. I said, get out of here. He said, keep it to yourself, man. So I love this story. So he goes out, and he's playing my guitar, and he goes and mimics me and falls.
Oh, really?
So now I swore I just got the gig back, and I swore I went to the cast after the gig. Said it was nice playing with y'all again. I know I'm going my ass home, and Prince invited us all to Paisley Park. So we all went to Paisley Park. This was when the Batman movie came out. He had Kim Basinger with him, okay, and Pat and Bud Ellison, the late great Bud, he was our musical director, my boss. I'm standing there. We eating hors d'oeuvres. They both tapped me, Herb, come with us. So they pulled me into Prince's studio. I guess Prince wanted me to come in because he had an affection for me because I fell, but I got to go in his control room and see that beautiful studio.
What an amazing experience.
Yeah, so, but the thing is, even with falling, I'm proud of that because I didn't let it shake me.
Right.
I would say if I go home.
The show must go on.
If I go home, it's what it is.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of be that. That gig was beautiful. Y'all know, everybody who knows me, it was like when it shut down, most of the time I had to do my school bus thing, which I'm proud of having done that. And because you're a musician, it goes real. I'm just a cat making a check.
So at the end of the day, when someone comes into, I know you're playing at a bunch of restaurants now, mainly Italian restaurants.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And when you're playing, there's no doubt in my mind you take the same passion and energy to all your gigs.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I want to explain this. Carmen, back in 2007, gave me a wonderful opportunity. I called him. I said, yo, man, he said, Herbie, I got a trio gig. Can you put a trio together? I'm like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, I knew how to do tracks. So I knew he was talking about the trio has to do a variety. It can't just be jazz. It's got to be everything. So I had a girl singer, because I had done this with Rita Stafford before. So she kind of gave me a training ground on those type of restaurant gigs. And so I put the trio together, and I said, I'm going to try this new iPod thing I have to put my tracks on, MP3s. I didn't know if it would work. I got out to the gig in Avalon, hit the button, and everything was cool. I had the stuff prepared, and we didn't get fired. There was several Avalon gigs. I think it was a succession of like a few months or something.
Yeah, I remember.
And then he gave me another gig at the Mashulu and other stuff, which has helped me. He gave me, because I've been at this one Italian restaurant, thank you, for like the last 14 years. It's called La Cena in Ben Salem. And it all started with this cat giving me this opportunity.
You're too kind.
And I mean, I've gotten so good at building these tracks now. I've been offered a gig as a piano player every Sunday at this one church. I've done that before. It's in Camden.
And what other restaurants are you playing so people maybe?
Baco, I'm playing there this weekend, the first time of the 19th. And there's another place I play called Tavola. Baco is in North Wales.
And Tavola, where's
Tavola is in Springfield. It's the Springfield Country Club.
And if people want to find you online?
Herb Smith Guitar. J. Herb Smith at AOL, because I have to get my website tighter. It's been put up. I don't know how to put add new
you
things.
on Facebook. You're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook. Just Google Facebook Herb Smith, and you'll see me holding my daughter. And that's the one you can see a lot of the videos I put up. And the pinnacle of the track gig is Henry McMillian tapped me to play.
Oh, Henry.
Yeah, he tapped me to play on the cruise ships. So I got to do the Soul Train cruise in 2019 in the lounge. And they hired me again to do the cruise again in 2020. And also Henry gave me a gig on the guitar. So Henry, thank you. I think they're going to use me in 2022. I think so. So it's been a real, you don't do this by yourself. You have other people, like you were an angel who gave me an opportunity. Patty was, Dexter was.
And you're so full of gratitude. And I think that's the greatest way to be.
It's, look, you have to kind of, I'm not minimizing my gifts. But at the same time, it's others who see things in you or see a potential.
Sure.
And so that enables it to shine up.
I have to tell you, it's been an absolute honor having you here and
you.
playing
Back
with you.
at
It's
you,
just
dude.
really.
This cat, wait a minute. I knew him as the agent guy. He was so sharp, and I was like, oh, damn, Carmen is the man. He's a real musician. This cat plays he plays piano and guitar. and he is great.
Oh,
The dude has a freaking ear, man. It blew my mind. We just did this Masquerade, and I'm like, okay, yeah, A7 sharp 5. Okay, no problem. I'm like, wow. So this guy is a real cat who found a way to really build a business from it. And I give you big kudos for that.
Thanks. It's a business of passion.
It's a business of passion.
And the treat for me is that I get to sit here with you and play music with you.
Well,
honestly, I don't know what people that don't have music in their lives do, but I know that having it in my life has enriched me. And part of that is getting to know someone like yourself.
Well, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Back
Ditto.
at you, man.
Thank you.
Y'all take care.